Welcome back, everyone. Okay, so have you ever felt like you're working incredibly hard, literally pouring your blood, sweat, and tears into your job, only to watch your entire paycheck just completely vanish by the end of the month? Yeah? Well, you are in exactly the right place. In today's Explainer, we're going to completely demystify this whole wealth building thing. And no, we're not going to do it by staring at some hyper-complex algorithmic trading screens. Actually, we're doing the exact opposite. We're time traveling way back to ancient parables to uncover the fundamental, totally timeless rules of money that still completely govern our modern wallets today.
Okay, let's dive right into this, because this question right here, it's kind of the ultimate modern paradox. You see, we've all got this deeply ingrained misconception that a high income just automatically equals wealth. Society basically beats it into our heads that if we can just, get that next raise or finally hit that six-figure salary, all our financial worries are just going to magically disappear. But here's the harsh truth. An impressive salary, it absolutely does not guarantee an impressive net worth.
Just consider this stark contrast for a second, because it absolutely shatters that whole assumption. On one hand, you've got someone earning 2 lakh rupees a month. Sounds fantastic, right? I mean, that's a great income, but they're spending 2.1 lakh. So they're essentially moving backward, literally becoming financially weaker every single month. Now, on the flip side, we have someone earning, say, 80,000 rupees a month, but they're consistently saving and investing a good chunk of it. It proves that wealth isn't about the size of the river flowing into your bank account. It's entirely about the reservoir you're actually keeping and growing.
And you know what happens when we don't realize this? We fall headfirst into the modern debt cycle trap. It goes like this. You earn some money, you immediately spend every single penny of it on lifestyle upgrades, you run out of cash, so what do? You borrow to cover the gap. And then you spend your next paycheck just trying to repay that debt. It's just a relentless treadmill. You could literally earn an absolute fortune over your lifetime and still end up completely broke if you get stuck in this loop.
Which brings us to Section 1, Wisdom from Ancient Babylon.
And that leads directly into Section 2, 7 Cures for Lean Purses.
To actually break this vicious cycle, we have to look back at George S. Clason's 1926 classic, The Richest Man in Babylon. The book's main character, a guy named Arcad, well, he wasn't born into royalty, he wasn't some ancient lottery winner. He became the absolute wealthiest man in Babylon entirely through sheer, unadulterated discipline, which he summarized in what he called the 7 cures for a lean purse. Now, the very first cure is definitely the most critical. Start thy purse to fattening. Or, to put it simply, pay yourself first. Before the landlord gets paid, before the streaming services take their cut, before you even buy groceries, you take at least 10% of what you earn and you keep it. Period. If you make 50,000 rupees a month, 5,000 belongs to you for your future. You learn to live on the rest. Do not wait until the end of the month to save what's left over because, let's be real, human nature guarantees there's going to be absolutely nothing left.
But, of course, saving that 10% is practically impossible if you don't master the second cure, control thy expenditures. This is really about ruthlessly separating your genuine, honest-to-goodness needs from your wants. Food, basic housing, getting yourself to work, those are needs. Upgrading to the absolute newest smartphone when yours works perfectly fine, yeah, that's a want. Now, this isn't about stripping all the fun and joy out of your life. It's just about stopping lifestyle creep. That thing where your spending magically expands to match every single raise you ever get.
Now, what's really interesting about this concept is how it breaks down in real life. Imagine a healthcare professional earning 60,000 rupees a month. 10%, so 6,000 rupees, is immediately locked away as savings. Boom, done. 40,000 goes to cover those true, basic, everyday needs. And that remaining slice? That is their freedom fund. That's the capital they can use for investing, maybe building a side business, or upgrading their own skills to ultimately build a truly wealthy life.
Skipping ahead just a bit to cures 5 and 6, the book makes a massive point that your largest expenses, which is usually your housing or dwelling, must be managed incredibly carefully. Why? Because they have a huge outsized impact on your overall wealth-building ability. Plus, you've got to think beyond today's paycheck, right? You need to actively ensure a future income through retirement planning and setting up income-producing assets, so you're actually financially secure even when you finally stop working.
Moving right along to Section 3, the multiplier, compounding and skills.
So, how do we actually reach that incredible state of financial security? Well, basic savings alone just aren't going to cut it. We need to look at the twin engines of wealth. The multiplier, and this brilliantly illustrates the very first engine, which is compound growth. The third cure actually tells us to make our gold multiply. Because money just sitting under a mattress, it doesn't do a thing. You've got to put it to work. You take your savings, you put them into productive investments. Those investments generate returns, and here is the real secret sauce. You invest those returns right back into the system. The absolute key ingredient here is time. Starting early is infinitely more powerful than trying to play catch-up by throwing massive amounts of money at it later in life. Then we have the second engine, which honestly might be the most empowering directive in the entire book. Increase thy ability to earn. I actually want to pause and just let that breathe for a second. We spend so much time obsessing over where to invest our cash, we totally forget that our single greatest income-producing asset is ourselves. Here's exactly how this sequence builds your wealth. When you develop your technical expertise, or when you put the effort in to improve your communication and leadership skills, you inherently provide way more value to the marketplace. And that directly translates into a much higher earning potential. It is a literal, direct multiplier. The more you learn, the more you earn, which obviously means you have way more to save and way more to compound.
So how does money actually behave once you finally start accumulating it? Well, the book outlines these punchy 5 laws of gold, and I want to rapid fire through them with you. Law 1, money comes to those who save consistently. Law 2, money grows when invested wisely, but you really need to listen to these last 3. Money stays when you protect your capital. It is absolutely lost in unknown investments, and it completely vanishes if you chase unrealistic get-rich-quick returns. Guarding your treasures from loss is just so essential. You have to protect your capital first, way before you ever try to grow it.
And now, Section 4, Applying Ancient Rules Today.
All right, let's pack our bags, leave ancient Babylon behind, and bring ourselves safely back to our modern reality. Because while human nature really hasn't changed a bit in thousands of years, the financial landscape definitely has, and we need some modern guardrails. So first up, here is a stark list of what to actively avoid. This is straight from the text, but deeply, deeply applicable today. Avoid unnecessary luxuries and impulsive purchases that drain your 10%. Avoid unmanageable debt like the plague. Run far, far away from anyone promising guaranteed high returns because, yeah, they are almost always a scam. And never, ever depend entirely on a single source of income.
On top of that, we have to add a few modern cautions to Arkad's ancient wisdom. I mean, the Babylonians didn't exactly have to lose sleep over our complex modern tax codes, right? Today, to make these timeless principles actually work, you absolutely must factor in inflation, which is silently eating away at your cash. You've got to consider taxes, the strict necessity of diversification, keeping a solid emergency fund, carrying proper insurance, and always watching out for those sneaky hidden investment fees. So use the book for its brilliant foundational habits, but make sure you apply modern tools to actually execute them.
So the absolutely crucial point here is captured by this overarching philosophy. Wealth is not a lottery ticket. It's really not an accident. True financial success is built through this consistent, highly cyclical discipline. It goes like this. You earn, you immediately save a portion. You invest it wisely, you protect it from foolish risks, you let it compound over time, and then you just repeat the process, over and over.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one single, highly provocative question. Take a close look at your habits, your spending, your daily routine. Are you spending your entire life just working for money? Or are you finally ready to apply these ancient cures, totally master your wallet, and start making your money work tirelessly for you? Think about it. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you in the next one.